Welcome to D.I.Y. Automotive School with my friend Pete and Minnie, the body shop girl. It's everything you need to know about cars and more.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my sandpaper. Now I'm still using the hard side, and I'm also going to take my sponge. I'm going to go ahead and dip them in the water and rinse my paper off. And one more time, I'm just going to lightly go over it. Okay? And I'm being careful to watch my edge. I'm using my fingers as a guide. Okay? And I'm visually looking at it as well. But I want to be very careful not to burn the paint off the edge. I'm going to come back this way. And this is why it's important to use the hard side first to make sure that you break the dust specks down. And I'm going to come over here and get this section. I'm going to go ahead and squeegee that. Okay, I'm not getting radical with my squeegee. I'm taking my time to make sure that I do it right. And now if you look at the door, you can see that it is solid one color. So at this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and flip over, okay, from the hard side to the soft side. Remember I told you I got two pieces to use for the soft side. We're going to go ahead and wet our door down again. Now I'm using the soft side of the block. Okay, I'm using the soft side of the block. And now you're going to really feel the sandpaper start to grip in, because using the soft side, okay, gives it more form to the door where you get a better sand out of it. What you want to do when you color sand, when you're sanding, you want to use your ears. Okay? You want to listen, okay, with your ears and make sure that you don't hear any unusual or obscure scratch noises. If you do, that means that you either have some trash in your sponge or there's some trash on your sandpaper. If so, you need to go ahead and rinse them out thoroughly. If you notice, I'm not using a lot of water. I don't want to use a lot of water on this. Minimal water is the key of getting a good sand job. I'm using my whole hand, but I'm also using my block. Do you understand? What I'm trying to say is do not color sand your car with your bare hand. This is a very easy, simple job if you follow these instructions and start out with the hard side of your block first. Squeegee it down. Make sure everything looks uniform and all the trash is out of it. You can actually feel, the texture of the paint that you sanded. Okay, you can feel it with your squeegee. Okay, believe it or not, your hands are very, very sensitive. So when you're rubbing that squeegee across, you can feel the difference of what this feels like versus this over here. Okay, so it's a lot of hand, ear, eye action going on. Now that I'm done with this section here, I'm going to move over to the next section, and then I'll get the next section. We'll come back with stage 2 when I get this all done with 1500, my block, and my sponge. Once you have sanded it down with your 1500 and your door is thoroughly done, now I want to mention on this edge right here, I did not sand it down. All I did is use my finger because this is a concave area. We want to stay away from that with our 1500. So back to what we were talking about. Once it's done, we're still going to use the same tools, but what we're going to do, okay, I'm going to show you two different ways to sand this. I'm going to show you the first way, which you will probably do at home. And what we're going to do is we're going to use 2000, okay? before I go any further, I want to show you, okay, all right, to sand that door, just that one door right there, I used 2 pieces of sandpaper. Now the reason I'm showing you this, okay, this is 1500, all right, the reason I'm showing you this is to tell you, do not skimp on using your sandpaper, okay? What I'm saying is, don't just take one piece and think that you're going to color sand your whole car. That ain't going to happen. Don't think you're going to buy 4 pieces and then brag about it and say, oh, I sanded my whole car with 4 pieces of sandpaper. Okay? If you want to do a uniform professional job, don't be shy to change your sandpaper out. Charlie, how many pieces have you used on that quarter panel? Okay, it took me 2 pieces to do this door, and you're doing a whole quarter panel with 1 piece? What you're doing is you're overworking yourself, sir. Let the sandpaper do the work. And believe me, you'll be done a lot quicker, Minnie.
Okay, Pete.
Let's not skimp on using sandpaper. That's why I bought a whole new thing. Okay, once you've broken it down with your 1500, it's pretty much downhill with it. See, we started up here, now we're going downhill to where it's a finished product. Now there's 2 ways you can do it. I'm going to show you the first way because that's more than likely what you're going to do at home. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of 2000, okay, I explained to you not to use just 1 piece of paper, okay, let the sandpaper do the work for you. I'm basically talking about 1500. 1500 is your first cut, okay, your first sand job, okay, once you get that done, you're pretty much final finessing it to make a professional buff. So if you put this in the same category as the 1500, okay, what Minnie and Charlie are doing, you would use half a sheet, okay, to do this instead of a full sheet. So look at that as 2 pieces. The higher the number gets on sandpaper, the finer grit sandpaper you are using, okay? So we got our block, our squeegee, a sponge, and our 2000 grit sandpaper. I'm going to fold that over, okay, the same exact way. I'm going to start out on the soft side and give me a double-sided fold, okay? We will not be using the hard side at all. We are done with the hard side. All that's for is breaking it down and getting the shiny surface off so we can get a good grip with our... Now, what we have right here, these are DA, which means dual action sanding discs. Okay, these are specially designed. They're made out of foam, if you look right here. Okay, and these are the best ones. These are the best ones that I've found. There's several companies out there that make them. You can actually buy some for color sanding, which are dry sanding, which you don't even use water. Okay, this is the way that I like. This is how we're going to do it. I go all the way down to 4,000, and I'm going to explain that to you when we get to that stage. But I was showing you, okay, the 2000. They also make a 2000, which is a hook it pad, okay, made out of sponge, all right, for your D.I.Y sander, all right, and that's 2000 as well. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to sand this section, and then I'll go ahead and show you how to use the D.I.Y sander. One more thing about the D.I.Y sander. Let's just go ahead and do this, then I'll explain the D.I.Y sander. So basically what we're going to do is we are going to repeat our process, okay? We're going to go ahead and repeat our process. Now, I was telling you about sections, okay? Once you get past the 1500 stage, you really don't need to section it out. Because basically what we're doing is we're making the finish fine as we can get, so we got the less buffing that we can do. I can actually buff this right here in 1500, okay? But I'm going to use a lot of compound. I'm going to have more chances of burning through the edges because it's going to take me 3 times longer to buff it out and get the 1500 scratches out, okay? So we're going to go ahead and use 1500. Remember I told you, use the soft side of your block and double fold on the soft side so you got 2 pieces to use. So we're going to go ahead and wet it down, and we're just going to go ahead and pay attention to where we're sanding, okay? And go ahead and sand our door down. You don't want your sandpaper to crumble up like that. Try not to let it crumble. Now we're going to fold the edge over, okay, so we can hold it because now we got our sharp edges, okay? And I'm still using the same water. I still haven't got any other water from the bucket because I want the sandpaper to grip good. I don't want it to glide across there like we're ice skating. And now, okay, just from the feel of the squeegee, using my ear, feel, and touch and eyesight, I can see that the finish is starting to get even finer, okay, just from sanding. Now, most of you out there are going to stop at this stage and start to buff, okay? This is actually buff quality right here at 2,000. You really don't need to go any farther than that. The reason I go farther, I go to 4,000, is to save on materials.
Thanks for watching D.I.Y. Automotive School. Classes don't stop till you know everything.